Shalom Aleichem. Welcome, a good night of Shabbos. Indeed, it's here. What is here? Gimmel Tammuz, the yahrzeit of our holy, heilige Rebbe. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Sai, what can we do today to appreciate, to live with this great tzaddik, the Rebbe? Let me begin by telling you that on Gimmel Tammuz, the tradition is to light a neir, a candle for the Rebbe's neshama, to get an aliyah, like you would get an aliyah the Shabbos before or the Shabbos of the yahrzeit, to discuss, talk, and share with your family and friends and others about the Rebbe's accomplishments, his greatness, and everything that he did for Klal Yisrael, for the Jewish people. To give tzedakah erev Shabbos or after Shabbos was chus nishmaseh, for the merit of his neshama, his soul. But being someone that lived with the Rebbe for 25 plus years, from the early 70s through 1994, and continue to live with him today, 28 years later, since the Histalkus, on Gimmel Tammuz, Tafshin Nun Daled, 1994, the transition from a small nucleus to a large Chabad reality is credited to this one man. And we are not into accolades, into sensations, grandiose accomplishments, but nevertheless, the Rebbe, whose yahrzeit this Shabbos Gimmel Tammuz, brings to the world a freshness, a innovation, and a light of hope, salvation, and practicality. Now this might be considered a pep talk, and indeed it is a pep talk. By Hasidim, we call this a Hasidic Farbrengen, a Hasidische Farbrengen. Yes, we don't have any wine or mashkik right here, but the concept of looking at things in a real way, not putting on a facade, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, and making hachlotis, resolutions that are positive and upbeat, but yet realistic, to implement and continue the drive. What is the Rebbe's drive? Mashiach. People ask, Mashiach has been around since day one. The Jewish people have been yearning for Mashiach. I anticipate, I wait for Mashiach, the 13 principles, the 13 animamins. So what's the novelty and the chiddush, the Rebbe's Mashiach drive? The answer is, the Rebbe teaches us how this is not only a part of Torah, and not only a wish, and not only a hope, and not only packing your belongings and to have them in a suitcase waiting in your closet for Mashiach to come to pick up your suitcase and go to Eretz Yisrael. No waiting. What are you doing today to bring Mashiach? Everything that a Yid does should be oriented with that machshava, that thought, Mashiach thinking, Mashiach fever. And a day shouldn't go by where a Jew doesn't have that sensation, what have I done today to bring Mashiach? And this is an eternal question, and this is an eternal quest, and a very fluid quest, and a beautiful way of keeping yourself young and exciting. A key to not just learning Torah and not just doing mitzvahs, but to live it and enjoy it is being excited about it. How do you come to that excitement? when you realize that what you're doing today makes a difference to the objective, to the mission. And the mission is Mashiach. They tell a story of the Abderov with his son. The Abderov once had his son in his room, and he tells his son, please open the window. And he opens the window, and he puts his head out the window, and he gives a sniff. And the son says, Father, dear Father, Holy Father, what are you doing? He says, I'm sniffing to see if Mashiach has yet arrived in the streets of Abda. So he says, Father, why couldn't you do the same thing from your room? If you're able to sniff Mashiach, why must you open the window, stick your head out, and do the sniff over there? Do it in your room if you have those powers. The Abderov said, in my room, there's Mashiach. The question is, if Mashiach is outside where everyone else senses and feels and is living with Mashiach. Rabbi say that the Rebbe smelled Mashiach and was Mashiach and is Mashiach and everything else that one wants to, one believes or hopes to believe, whatever your belief is, and I'm not going into that right now. But one thing's for sure, that this tzaddik, this Rebbe, this Nasi, embodies that. One way or the other, he embodies it. Halachically, according to the Zohar, that's not for now. The question is, if I and you are living with Mashiach, if I and you feel that in our bones, that we can't sleep at night, and we can't eat until we do something daily to bring Mashiach. So I think, to summarize, to conclude, we want to give something to the Rebbe, not just take, but give this Shabbos, Gimmel Tammuz. In addition to asking Hashem to bestow the brachas of parnasa and shidduchim and health and everything else that we need, and community with our community and friends, give something. By Chassidim, when you gave a pidyon, you gave money together with the pidyon. Why? The Rebbe needed your money. Because the channel of tzedakah opens the window of bracha greater and larger and bigger. But it's not just giving tzedakah to the causes that are dear to the Rebbe, which is to help another Yid, even if he or she is not a Chabad house rabbi or Rebbetzin. To help a Chabad house, to help a yeshiva, and guess what? To help other Jewish institutions that are not Chabad. The Rebbe encouraged people to give to modern Orthodox institutions in certain cases, to other Hasidic groups. And this is something that his predecessors did all along from the Alter Rebbe's time. There wasn't this thing, I'm giving to my own. Every Yid is part of the Kehillah, the community. But more so, to make a resolution for yourself. What am I going to do? Do something concrete to bring Mashiach. And this way you say to the Rebbe, who's Yortzei the Shabbos, Rebbe, I'm giving you this gift for this coming year. And next year, Emir Hashem, Mashiach will come, and we will give another gift, another resolution. Making a hachalota, making a resolution, is a very holistic thing for the human character and personality. It keeps you going. It makes you look towards something that is beautiful, that is special, and it makes you work harder. Chassidim always had a line. You say this is the name of the Tzemach Tzedek Chassidim. Anything that's given to you on a plate, spoon-fed, that's easy, run the other way. Anything that's difficult, that's what you should go for, because that's avodah, that's working towards something, that's effort and diligence. May Hashem help the Shem of our Rebbe, the Tzaddik, who's Yortzei the Shabbos, and it's a Yom HaYilula, it's called, the day the Zohar Kodesh says about the Shimon, and so it's by every Tzaddik. It's a Yom HaYilula, a day of Simcha, analogous to the Simcha of a wedding, There's opportunities in every part of life. We should connect and plug in. Everyone, whether you're officially a Chabad Chassid, you're not a Chassid, even if you're a Litvak or a Besnagid or Sephardic or not even religious yet, and even Lahavdil, a non-Jew, everyone has a shaykhus to this tzaddik and nasi of the entire generation. Even 28 years later, after his physical body passed on, he continues to impact the world because he is the nasi hadoir. L'chaim, a good night of Shabbos, and say L'chaim Shabbos with Simcha, sing a Chassidish niggin, and be together with other Yidden, and we will be Zoicha very soon to V'kitzur Anu Sheikh Ne'ofer, our Rebbe B'teicham U'Beroisham, not only with Mashiach, but heading the line and heading B'nai Yisrael with Moshe Rabbeinu and all the Rabbeim, and we'll be Zoicha to Gula Shleima Karab Mamish, Yerushalayim, Yerakodesh, B'nyan Beis HaMikdash, Amen v'Amen.